Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and you are watching Saturday Stitching, where every day can feel like Saturday if your stitching is going well. Just in case you haven't noticed, I'm here on my own, in case you didn't see that in the title. It's just me this week because my daughter, Maya, who has been my companion for the last several videos, is having a date night with her boyfriend. They're going to see Avengers Endgame. So she's not going to be with me today. So I'm going to do a short video. And next weekend, she's not going to be with me because she is doing her festival. If you follow her on Instagram, I believe she mentioned the name of the festival. I don't remember what it's called. So I'm opening the chat as you see me looking over here. But unless somebody comes on and asks me a question, this is just going to be a quick because I did not. I know I say quick every time, but really quick today because I did not get a lot done this week. I have not finished anything. I've got homework to do because I'm at the end of the semester, and so it's final projects and last homework assignments. So, and I I'm just looking forward to today. This was really the only thing that I had scheduled for myself for today, so that I can just kind of relax before I go into all the assignments I have to do next week. So, the three goals that I set, that apparently that's going to be a regular thing now. Part of the reason I do these videos is to to motivate myself to work on these projects that I have. It's not that I don't want to do them, it's just that I let other stuff end up taking the place of the projects. So I end up, reading a book or watching TV or doing something else. And so I end up letting all these other things take the place. So I'm trying, but in part of my spring cleaning mode, my overall spring cleaning mode, which I'll discuss more in a couple weeks when Maya is back. But basically, I'm trying to just like tighten up things in all areas of my life. So, anyway, the goals that I had for last week, the three projects that I was going to work on, was one old and two newish, which means my five major whips. If you've been here, I've got my five major whips that have been sitting for a year and a half that I want to get out of this. I want them out the door by the end of the year, which is an ambitious idea, but I want them out of it because they're all big. They're big Afghan projects. So, and one of them's not even started. So I call it a whip, but really all I did was buy the pattern. So one of them's not even started yet. But anyway, the three for this week were um, the Unraveled Mitten Square. She released Square number 8, and I have not finished it. You would think that I could finish a square in an evening. It's not like I'm an inexperienced crocheter, but I never managed to finish a square in an evening. The past few times that you've seen me show a square on here, I was like rushing to finish that square the morning that I made the video. So, and this time, this is all I've gotten done of the square so far. I know my colors on here are not great. I'll post this on Instagram when once it's finished, but this is Red Heart Spring Green. I know, even though it was unlabeled, because this is all I have left of it, plus what's already crocheted up, of course. This is all I have left of it. But I know it's spring green because spring green was the Pantone color of the year, I think 2 years ago. So I bought yarns from different. I bought some Lion Brand in a spring green, and I bought some Red Heart in a spring green. Can't remember what I made with it, but I because my plan was to, because green is my favorite color, or it has been my favorite color for the past several years. Although I'm leaning toward other colors like purple now, but green, as you can see, got my green shirt on. Green has been my favorite color for the past several years. So when Pantone put this as the color of the year, I was like, yes, I'm going to make a bunch of green stuff. Didn't really make a bunch of green stuff, but that's why I still have this color. This this square, this stitch is called the tiny flower stitch square. I don't know how I feel about it. Part of the reason it's not finished because really all I have is 3 more inches to go, and then I'm going to be doing a 2 inch border as I do on the other projects. Because I'd rather have a wide border. I'd rather do 10 inches. They're supposed to be 12-inch squares, worsted weight 12-inch squares. I'd rather do a 10-inch square and add a wide border, then do like I did with my first square, do a 12-inch square, and then do just one round of single crochet. I don't like the look of that, at least not the way I do it. Other people, everybody stitches slightly differently. It looks different for other people. It doesn't look good for me. So I only have 3 inches of this to do. So I got to this point where I am now. I did this. It took me 2 evenings to get to this point after doing my job that I get paid for and then doing homework. I sit down in the evenings. If you've been here before, you know I don't sit down till about 9:30 or 10 to actually stitch, and then I end up stitching for 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and I always have to refer to instructions. And this is proof because it took me 2 evenings to do this. And then this morning, I was like, well, I'm going to finish this up. I've only got 3 inches. I know how to do this stitch. I've got it figured out now. I'll just do it. And I did it, and it was not right. I did it without looking at the instructions because I did not print out the instructions. I put my instructions on my devices because I don't I mean, I have a printer, but I don't buy printer ink for it very often because printer ink is expensive. And so I don't put ink in it unless there's like a legal document or something that I need to print out. And half the time, even then, I go over to a friend's house and print out rather than having to spend, $35 on the ink cartridge. So I don't print my patterns the way I used to when I worked in an office all the time. So both of my devices were needed to be charged at the same time. So I said, I know this by heart. I'm going to go ahead and do this myself. And without looking. And I tried. I really tried because I thought, you need to learn to trust your instincts. That's one of the things I'm trying to learn to do now that I'm finally grown, age 52. I still don't feel like I'm grown, but that's another discussion. But, you know, I'm a grown woman. I should trust my instincts instead of having to constantly look at instructions for everything. This is not just for this, it's for like cooking, everything. I never trust myself even after I've done the thing 50 times. The 51st time, I'll still look at the instructions because I don't trust myself to remember the instructions. And it turned out it was messed up. I couldn't get it right. The edges got all wonky and it didn't look right in the middle because there's adjustments in the instructions. If you're doing this square, there are slight adjustments on the ends when you first start each row and end each row that are not the same on every row, and I couldn't remember those slight adjustments. Like, do I go ahead and space here, or do I do a half double crochet and then skip a space, or what have you? And I thought I knew, I didn't know, it didn't look right. I did like 2 inches and it looked awful, and I ripped it back out right before I started the video. So that's why this is all I have left. But I should have it done and posted on Instagram by the time I do a video next week. So this was the first thing that was on the goal list. The second thing on the goal list was the AKA scarf. Excuse me while I reach down, because I have it in a bag. Everybody likes to show off their project bags. This is what I'm using right now. Not technically a project bag. This is a bag that was, my husband went to the beauty supply store to get some plots. He was buying an electric razor for my son and some other health product that was on sale at Sally's Beauty Supply. So he went to the beauty supply store to get the things, and they were having some sort of sale where you buy a certain amount and you get a free bag. Well, he spent enough that day that he got two free bags. So he gave one to my best friend and gave the other one to me. So that's what this bag is. And so I use it when I go. I guess it's a project bag. I hate to say project bags because I don't really use dedicated project bags. I use whatever happens. I mean, this happens to be a nice bag that I'm using, but sometimes I use a trash bag. Sometimes I use the bags left over from my wigs. I I use whatever happens to be handy. It looks like it can be reusable. So this is the AKA scarf. Um, if you weren't here before or don't remember me mentioning it, this is the scarf that this is my third attempt to actually finish a C2C project. I'm doing this in mini C2C. I've tried out the technique twice before, but never, it wasn't right for the two projects that I was doing. One was the avatar blanket I've ended up switching to back to single crochet to do, and the second one was the Wonder Woman blanket, which I ended up doing in Tunisian. Um, but this I'm making as a gift for a sort of gift. Quickly, if you weren't here before, I my husband's best friend, their oldest daughter is graduating from college in May, and she pledged AKA. So these are their colors. Um, to to be really real, this is the shade of pink because I went on their website and they actually have the Pantone number for their colors. Um, to make sure you get the right sorority colors if you're doing stuff. So this is the actual pink that I had in my stash. This is the actual green. But as you can see, I did not have enough of this green to finish a scarf. I was going to try, but that really would have been playing yarn chicken. So I went with the closest thing that I have, which is this baby yarn that I have. And this yarn, which I thought was a three, is actually more of a one. The label doesn't say because it's very old yarn. It's from the box that keeps on giving. So I'm holding this two strands together, which, in case you don't know me, I hate holding two strands of yarn together. I hate it with a passion. Hate it, hate it, hate it. But I'm doing it. So I say sort of gift because I hadn't heard my husband say that he planned to give her a gift, but like this is the first college graduate out of our peer group of like, you know, our peer group whose children have all graduated high school. She's going to be the first one graduating from college. Because even my eldest got down to the last two semesters and wasn't able to finish. So I thought he's probably, since this is his best friend, he's probably going to get a gift. So I'm making this. If I manage to finish it before the end of May, I will give it to my husband and say, you can throw this in with whatever you plan to make. And so it accomplishes two things. I've added to the gift and I've used up yarn from the box that keeps on giving. So, but I I mainly showed this because I finally went ahead and figured out how to do the decreases. For some reason, even though I watched video after video, the whole maintain the same 17 stitches by decreasing on one end and increasing on the other confused me to no end. I don't know why. It confused me. I felt like I was going to be looking at the wrong part of the chart, but I bought the chart with the counts, with the line by line counts. which that was another thing I wanted to mention. I will do line by line counts from now on. I wish the big five whips that I already have had line by line counts already done, because that made life a whole lot easier. Trying to read from the charts is slowing me down. As it just like making this square, having to look at the instructions for every line slows me down a little bit. The chart slows me down even worse than having to look at the written instructions after every line. That just slowed me down even worse. So this is the first one that I'm doing a charted pattern, but actually looking at written instructions, and it's going so much better. So much. I mean, not super fast, but I mean, if I was trying to read the chart, I'd still be down here on this stripe somewhere. I'd be way down here. I wouldn't be this far already. So I did get a good bit of this done since I showed it last time, because I didn't have all of these decreases. I think I was right down here to the first decrease. So I didn't have all these decreases done. So hopefully I'm just about to the part I think where I'm going to start working the letters on this next row. So that'll be cool. So hopefully I'll have something else to show. Um, the third goal was to work on the sweater, the casualty, which is this, and I haven't done anything on it. As you can see, I'm still in the same space I was last week. I haven't done anything on it. Partly because I think mainly because when I go to pick it up, I don't pick it up because I am on an easy part of that project. And my natural tendency when it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm thinking, oh, I should probably pick up one of my projects and work on it, my brain goes, oh, pick up the easiest one. And that's why projects like the five major whips don't get done, because I don't feel like dragging them out and trying to read the instructions. And this AKA scarf is almost starting to take on the status of the five major whips, in that it's getting to a point where I don't feel like dragging it out because I got all these bobbins that I have to do. I mean, I try to put a bunch of yarn on each of the bobbins, but I feel like every row, at least one of these bobbins runs out and I got to add more yarn to it. So I feel like I'm adding yarn every row. But if I didn't do the bobbins, it was even worse because I was trying to just work straight from loose balls, and uh-uh, that just made a tangled up mess that made me not want to pick up the project at all. So when I sit down, I'm I'm resisting the urge to pick up my easiest project, which right now the t-shirt is the easiest project, because I can do that. I that is one where I really do have the little lace part memorized. So I don't have to look down at instructions to do that. So I it's just easy. So I don't pick it up. But I'll put some time in on it today. But that the scarf keeps calling me though. And the waffle stitch, you may notice the raised waffle square Afghan has not made an appearance in the last couple of videos, because I'm purposely not picking that one up, because that was a new project and it's a fun project. It's using up stash, which is good, just like this Afghan square is using up stash. That's good. That's part of what I want to do, is use up that box that keeps on giving. But I really want to get rid of the stuff that's already the five major whips. I really want to get the five major whips out of my hair. But a secondary um a secondary goal, which is part of my spring cleaning. I shouldn't even call it spring cleaning, it's more like life cleaning because I hope this carries on past spring. But my decluttering mindset right now is I have a bunch of patterns in either physical magazines and physical books or my Ravelry library or my hard drive on my computer, where I've just collected either books that I bought. I don't buy a lot of books, so that was during the phase 20 years ago. But a lot of free patterns that I have bookmarked or downloaded and said that I'm going to make them, and then never went back to them again. So I'm trying to go back to these patterns rather than constantly looking for a new pattern. And but I fell off the horse, the raised square Afghan, because I've always had a fondness for a waffle stitch blanket, whether it's a store bought blanket or a handmade one in crochet. I love the look of that waffle stitch. I love the squishiness of a waffle stitch blanket. So when I saw that pattern on Instagram, I couldn't resist it, even though it wasn't in my library. I couldn't resist it. So I went ahead and started it. But I'm kind of keeping that one to the back burner until I finish one of these other ones. I'm trying to keep one of the major five. I'm my 3 projects a week. I'm trying to keep one of the major five in that rotation, and then the other two can be something else. So I'll move that blanket back in as soon as I get one of these other two done. So that is all that I have for this week. I told you it's going to be pretty much short and solo. I have we are at yep, we're at 22 minutes and I'm here by myself probably because I actually started on time rather than when I'm with Maya and we don't get started till 5:30. But but I wouldn't trade doing it with her for the world because I honestly think the videos go better when we have each other to bounce things off of. When I'm doing the video by myself, as much as I try to make notes and be prepared, I find myself rambling, just like I'm doing today. So, my goals for next week are pretty much going to be the same as this week. I'm going to finish this square. Since I'm almost finished with it, I'll probably finish this square today. So I'll probably add it back in the waffle stitch blanket to take its place until she drops the next square. Um, and then I'm gonna work on the AKA scarf. That's because that I'd like to get done by the end of May, and May starts next week, so the deadline is coming now. Which I tend to get spurred on by deadlines, so I've kind of created this deadline for myself. So hopefully it will spur me on to actually finish it. Because I'm usually better with deadlines imposed by other people. If I set a deadline for myself, then I'm like, well, I set it for myself. It's not a real deadline. I don't have to meet it. So, but hopefully I can make this feel like a real deadline and get this done. Um, and then the casual t-shirt. My daughter, who the t-shirt is meant for, is coming back for summer break in about 2 weeks, week and a half. So I'm hoping to have it at a stage where she can at least try it on. Because you're supposed to be able to try on top down sweaters. But I haven't had it at a stage where I could put it on waste yarn and have her try it on. So hopefully by the time she comes back, I'll have it at that stage to see. Because if the armholes are too tight or whatever, then it's not worth it for me to spend any more time on it. So that is all for my knitting as far as life stuff is concerned. As I mentioned at the top of the um, video, I have my semester ends May 7th. Once that ends, I have one more class during the summer, which is sort of a makeup class. Um, Basically, in a nutshell, I started in 2012. And I've been taking classes every semester, but not always full time. Sometimes, like right now, I'm a full time student on top of working part time. But I sometimes I work part time, work full time, and classes part time. But I've taken classes. So when I started, they had this class called um, basically it's a how to be a student class. If you have any kids in college, they probably took it their first semester. Because my kids, all three of my daughters, well, all my son had to take it too when he started taking classes at community college. It's basically, this is how to be responsible, this is how to meet your deadlines, these are all the services that are available on campus, blah 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 blah. That wasn't a required course when I started in 2012. On the community college level, it was just a required course at the state colleges. Well, now they've added it in as a required course on the community college level, and I checked with the head of my department, and she's like, "Yep, you still got to take it. If you want to have your associate's degree, you still got to take it." So, and I've heard other teachers say that some students are resentful that they get to the end and realize they have to take this course. And by the time you get to the end of your associate's degree, taking this course feels like going back to kindergarten after you graduated from high school, because it's really very basic stuff that you probably could have used at the beginning, but now that you're done, you already know all this stuff and you don't even need it anymore because you're leaving. Um, but I am trying not to have this attitude. I figure it will be a bird course since I've been taking online courses since 2012. I figure I will breeze through this course. And it is the only course. It's not like taking a full course load like I've done this semester and last semester. It's just one course. But on top of that, I will also be studying for my um, certified professional coder exam, CPC. If any of you are familiar with medical coding, that's what I've been going to school for, and I um, will be taking my exam at the end of August. Telling you guys all of this just to say that hopefully my projects will pick up some after May 7th, because I will have fewer classes on my schedule, but I still will be studying hard for that CPC certification exam, because that will change my duties on my job into things that I would prefer to do. Right now, I'm doing the medical billing, which is not my favorite thing to do. It's a thing that you need to know how to do so that you understand how the whole chain of billing works. But I really would prefer to get into the coding, mainly because I won't have to talk to people on the phone anymore. But because I hate talking to people on the phone. Um, So I may you may see my project an uptick in progress on my projects, but you may not, because I will be studying hard. Like I said, that CPC certification exam, I failed it the first time, but I got really close. So I'm going to be studying hard to make sure I don't fail it this time, because it's a free retake this time around. So if I fail it this time, then I got to come out of pocket for $400 to take it again. So I know there are people who have had to take it 2 or 3 times before they passed it, but I do not want to come up off that kind of money. So I can just see my husband now saying, "You're a smart woman. How'd you fail this twice? Why do we have to pay $400?" I can just see it. So I'm going to be really diligently studying to pass it this time around. So, and then once that happens, then hopefully I'll be, even though I'll be working full time, I won't be working and doing school. So hopefully my videos will get more interesting, because I'll have more stuff to talk about, because I'll have more time to read some books and watch some stuff on TV and actually finish projects and go on vacation in September. Woo! So, so thank you for watching this video. I see that nobody showed up in the chat, which is fine because, like I said, I wanted to be, as I said in the description, no time for bows, honey. Just 3 bars and all. I bet you don't know what musical that ad lib is from, but I 30 minutes, so it's time for me to say adios. I'm not doing the other than stitching video because I normally do that with Maya where we chat about stuff. And so I really don't feel like doing that by myself. It makes no sense. I would just be rambling like I'm doing right now, and that's no fun for anybody. Um, so I shall see you next week, hopefully with more progress than I have this week. I hope that your stitching goes well. Those of you who make videos, I look forward to watching some of your videos and seeing what you've gotten done this week. Bye.